Hey there, thanks for being here. I am Marina Ormes here with your Astro vibe for Wednesday, October 19th. And the moon is in Leo again today. Yesterday I talked about creativity and 3 ways to quickly tap into your creativity. So you'll definitely want to check that out if you missed that. And today I thought we'd look a little more deeply at self-expression. And so our topic is how to overcome blocks to self-expression. And one of the reasons we're talking about blocks is because the moon is moving through a T-square. Remember, the moon moves pretty quickly. So when it forms something like a T-square or a conjunction or another one of those aspects that we astrologers love to talk about, it moves through pretty quickly. So it casts a feeling to the day, but it's not going to be something that's going to last for weeks or months or even years the way some of the outer planets can do that. So this energy of the T-square for today, for October 19th, is the moon in Leo, activating the ongoing square between Uranus and Saturn, which actually is something that lasts for quite a while. It was active for the entire year of 2021. We had a little bit of a break from the intensity of it in 2022, and now it's coming back as those planets go retrograde and sort of move back into the area where they are forming that square. So the moon activates that square. It is in Leo, so it's reminding us that we need to speak up. We need to be in our truth. We need to be expressing ourselves. And certainly there are reasons why we might sometimes hold back from expressing ourselves. And some of these reasons are real and rational and make sense. And some of those reasons are deeper and they are more irrational, and they don't obviously make sense to what is happening around you. In other words, the reasons that we have blocks to our self-expression are because it's vulnerable, right? It's sharing our truth, it's sharing who we really are, and we don't want to do that if somebody's just going to use that against us, or use it to hurt us or make us feel bad. So we have natural ways that we protect ourselves built in to prevent us from sharing that self-expression, that truth, that rawness, that vulnerability, that honesty all the time. Like, we don't just go around walking through the grocery store being really honest with everybody, right? That's why we keep it superficial with the small talk and all that. Okay, anyway, we do want to, and this Leo moon and the challenges that can come up with this T-square are actually reminding us that there are times and places where we do need to share and express our truth. And what is that? And when does that happen? And why is it necessary? And how can we rise to meet that challenge? So when you are sharing, when you're talking, when you're being yourself, when you're noticing things going on in the world, and you notice yourself holding back, you notice yourself not jumping in, not saying something that maybe you want to say, or maybe it would be natural for you to say, but you just hesitate because it doesn't feel safe. And so safety is a huge, huge part of this. And that's one of the first things that I would mention when we're talking about overcoming blocks to self-expression. Is the first thing is to notice that the block is there. So number one is notice. And noticing that you have a block, noticing that there's something you want to say, there's a way that you want to connect with somebody, there's something that you think should be being discussed, and you don't feel comfortable or safe to bring it up. So that's the first step, is just noticing that that's happening without doing anything about it, right? Just notice. And that's a really important step, because it allows us to become more aware of the dynamics of what's going on, of maybe where we're holding back, So that's the first step, is to notice. And then the second step is to question the beliefs that you have around that. Just ask the deeper questions. Where is that belief coming from? Is it really true? Is it really true that it's not safe for me to speak up here? And if that's really true, then that's probably a good choice not to speak up, because you don't want to speak up where it's not safe. But is it really true? Let's ask if it's really true. And if it's not really true, what else could be going on? Is there some irrational reason, some old trauma, some fear that you have of what somebody might say or think about you? So questioning your beliefs, looking a little more deeply at what's going on, just taking that extra moment to become aware of what is actually going on. And so once you've done that, once you've noticed that the block is there to your self-expression, to you being your authentic self and expressing your authentic truth, noticing the block and then asking the deeper questions. Why is it there? Is it legitimate? Is it something you should be listening to? Is it not something you should be listening to? Where is it coming from? Is it something that serves you? Is it not something that serves you? Those kinds of questions. So number one, notice. Number two, question. And then number three is be vulnerable, right? So once you've gone through that process of noticing, deciding, okay, I really am safe and I'm just afraid, and I need to find my courage, or, what's the worst that could happen? And the worst that could happen is something that I am willing to take a risk on. Then go ahead and be vulnerable, because when you are vulnerable, you make that emotional impact through your sharing, through your words, through your self-expression, through just who you are. And that vulnerability has a real impact. It helps others to shift. It helps others to see things in new and different ways, which goes back to what we were talking about yesterday about being creative and being present for new ways of approaching, maybe this same argument or the same dialogue that we've had. How could we do it differently? Some of those kinds of things. And with, of course, love and respect for all involved, including yourself. And how can you be vulnerable, but having respect for yourself in that vulnerability, so that you are making the choice. You're having the power, right? Nobody's forcing you. Nobody is in charge of you except you. So, and then if things don't go the way, the way you would like, it's always good to go home and process in that space of safety. Do some journaling, write out what happened, how you responded, how you might have wanted to respond differently, because all that is part of a longer process where maybe next time you will be able to respond differently. Maybe you weren't ready just yet. So it's all part of the process of healing. And this is how we grow and evolve and move through the things that we are healing within ourselves, so that we can be more powerful and effective and creative in the world, right? Creative in the literal sense of creating new experiences for ourselves, creating new realities with the people we relate to in the world around us. So that is all super powerful. And of course, art is another way of doing that, right? The writing, painting, drawing, music, whatever is your artistic expression is also another way of doing that, and being real and being honest and vulnerable. And these same steps can help you with that. So just to recap, overcoming blocks to self-expression. Number one, notice the block, what's going on. Number two, question your beliefs, ask the deeper questions. How is this working? Where is it coming from? Number three, be vulnerable. So there you go. I hope that's helpful for you. And thank you so much for being here and for supporting my work, subscribing to this YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about what I do and how to work with me, check me out at astrologyheals.com. Check out my books that I've written about how to work with this energy, this beautiful energy of astrology and the cycles of healing that support us to become more powerful as the creative and potent beings that we really are. Thanks again, and I will see you next time for the Daily Astro Vibe and continue the good work of self-care. Bye for now.